him. I didn't do anything wrong, but the fact that you guys are doing this to me and he's the man in this situation, I'm gonna comply. I am. I'm not gonna argue with you at all. But you have me on camera, but at the same time, what he has on camera, I have my phone, show something different. So if I need to show that,
like in the video, they are in the middle of an airport and he is visibly trying to walk away, and she's like pushing him and like hitting him in the middle of a fucking airport in broad daylight. Like, as someone that's quite literally afraid to even record myself in public,
you know what I'm saying, I feel like it was just a sucky situation all around. Like, I don't feel as if like she should have been arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, people have discussions and emotions and stuff like that. And she have like things that she need to work on for herself, of course. So do I, so do you, so do you. Like,
Sha'Carri Richardson just went from sprinting for gold to sprinting away from her entire career. After shocking new footage dropped, Team USA didn't hesitate. They erased her name with one cold email. No sympathy, no second chances, just done. But was this the final straw? Or was Sha'Carri set up to fall from the very beginning? She has always been one of the most talked about athletes in the world of track and field. Her speed, her confidence, and her unapologetic personality made her a fan favorite. But now, the same boldness that once brought her admiration has turned into controversy that could end her career for good. It all started with shocking footage from an airport incident involving her boyfriend, Christian. Surveillance cameras captured what appeared to be a heated argument between the two. But it didn't stop at words. Witnesses reported that Sha'Carri shoved and struck him as he tried to walk away. Within minutes, police were called, and the Olympian was placed under arrest right there in the terminal.
Yes, I do. My name is Sha'Carri Richardson. I do have my ID. Yeah, but I will definitely leave him alone. There's nothing that I want to do with him anymore. Like I say, it was a relationship thing. I need to get my stuff out of his bag.
At first, Sha'Carri acted as though this was nothing more than a misunderstanding. When questioned by officers, she smiled, provided her ID, and claimed the situation had been blown out of proportion. But as soon as she realized she was actually being arrested, her composure slipped. She became emotional, called her boyfriend a coward, and even insisted that he should be the one in handcuffs because he was the man in the situation. Team USA wasted no time responding. Instead of a press conference or even a chance to explain herself, Sha'Carri received one cold, emotionless email forwarded by her agent. The message was clear. She was placed on indefinite leave, effective immediately. In the world of professional track and field, those two words are essentially a career death sentence. No athlete comes back the same from an indefinite leave, and for Sha'Carri, it signaled that the organization had finally had enough. This wasn't her first scandal. Fans remember all too well the Tokyo Olympics in 2020, when Sha'Carri tested positive for cannabis use. The punishment, a suspension that kept her from competing in the 100 meters, was highly controversial at the time. Many argued the rules were outdated, especially since marijuana is legalized in so many places. But behind closed doors, insiders suggested the punishment was more than just about cannabis. Reports surfaced of Sha'Carri clashing with authority, skipping training responsibilities, and failing to show respect to her peers. At the time, her supporters dismissed those claims as exaggerated. But now, in light of the airport arrest, those old criticisms seem to paint a clearer picture. The silence from her teammates today says it all. Not one woman on Team USA has spoken up in her defense, not a single statement or social media post. Then came the most bizarre twist. Days after the arrest, Sha'Carri's boyfriend, Christian, released his own statement defending her. He claimed the situation was just a misunderstanding and insisted she didn't deserve to be arrested. But viewers immediately noticed how uncomfortable he seemed. His eyes darted away from the camera, his hands fidgeted, and he struggled to get through his sentences. Many recognized this as a common sign of a victim defending their abuser. The speculation ended when TMZ obtained the full surveillance footage. The 15-minute video left no doubt. It showed Sha'Carri shoving and crowding Christian while he repeatedly tried to disengage. He never once raised a hand to her. In fact, it looked like he was doing everything he could to avoid escalation, while she pressed forward again and again. That single clip flipped the narrative upside down. What some had believed was a misunderstanding now looked like a case of clear aggression. What made things worse was the way Sha'Carri tried to manipulate the situation. During her arrest, she told officers she never touched Christian, then claimed he had hit her first, and finally tried to play the victim card by saying she was only being arrested because he was a man. The shifting stories painted a picture, not of honesty, but of someone scrambling to escape accountability. If not for the footage, she might have succeeded in rewriting the narrative. As the evidence piled up, Sha'Carri attempted damage control. She released a video apology in which she spoke about accountability, healing, and seeking forgiveness from those she had hurt. But fans weren't convinced. She smiled throughout the video. Her tone felt rehearsed, and many believed she was simply reading from a script written by a PR team. For an issue as serious as domestic violence, the casual delivery rubbed viewers the wrong way. Not stopping there, she followed up with an Instagram story addressed directly to Christian. In it, she called him the love of her life, praised him for teaching her about unconditional love, and apologized for her actions. She admitted that past trauma had blinded her from giving and receiving love in a healthy way. But once again, the response from the public was overwhelmingly negative. People didn't see sincerity. They saw desperation from an athlete trying to save her public image. The fallout has been brutal. Major sponsors like Nike, Sprite, and Hyperis, all of which invested heavily in her brand, have remained silent. Insiders claim that phone lines are buzzing behind the scenes, with lawyers reviewing contracts and new endorsement deals placed on indefinite hold. Companies like Nike are notoriously protective of their public image, and they have dropped athletes in the past for less. Even more damaging is the growing public sentiment. Many fans who once cheered Sha'Carri on are now calling for her to be cut from sponsorship deals entirely. Some even tagged her brand partners directly, urging them to take action. For them, the issue is simple. If the roles were reversed, if Christian had been caught shoving and striking Sha'Carri, his career would be over in an instant. Why should it be any different just because the genders are reversed? For Sha'Carri, this represents more than just a suspension or a lost sponsorship. It's the crumbling of the foundation she's built her entire life on. Track and field was not just her career. It was her identity, her escape, and her platform. Without it, she risks fading from the spotlight altogether. Remembered not for her record-breaking sprints, but for a scandal that derailed everything. This saga also raises larger questions about accountability in sports. For years, Sha'Carri's behavior was excused or overlooked because of her talent, but talent can only carry someone so far. Eventually, the pattern of controversies catches up, and when it does, the fall is fast and unforgiving. Now, all eyes are on what happens next. Will Team USA's decision stand permanently, erasing her from the sport she dominated? Will sponsors officially cut ties, leaving her without financial backing? Or will she find a way to rebuild, to show genuine remorse, and to prove that this moment doesn't define her? One element that stands out is how quickly the public turned against her. In past controversies, Sha'Carri had defenders who argued that she was being unfairly targeted, that her mistakes were minor compared to the punishments she faced. But this time, the overwhelming consensus is different. The release of the raw footage removed all doubt, and with that, the narrative shifted from unfair treatment to accountability long overdue. The silence from her closest allies has also been deafening. In moments like these, athletes often have at least one or two peers step forward to voice support or defend their character. Yet from Team USA, from fellow sprinters, from the track community at large, there has been nothing but silence. That absence speaks volumes. It suggests that behind the scenes, many had already lost faith in Sha'Carri long before this scandal hit the headlines. Sponsors, too, are feeling the pressure. Big-name companies rely heavily on public trust, and once that trust begins to erode, they are quick to protect themselves. For Sha'Carri, this means not only the loss of income, but also the loss of mainstream visibility. Sponsorships aren't just about money. They're about exposure, media campaigns, and keeping her image in the spotlight. Without them, her brand value diminishes, and with it, the power she once held as a cultural icon. Another layer to this story is the double standard being highlighted by fans. Many have pointed out that if the roles had been reversed, if Christian had been caught on video shoving and hitting Sha'Carri, his career would be destroyed instantly. Endorsements would vanish, legal action would escalate, and public opinion would never forgive him. By holding Sha'Carri to the same standard, the public is demanding consistency in how domestic violence is treated, regardless of gender. What makes this moment even more tragic is how much potential Sha'Carri still had left in her career. At only 24, she was supposed to be entering her prime, the years when sprinters usually dominate the track and build their legacy. Instead, her name is trending for all the wrong reasons, overshadowing her athletic achievements with scandal and disappointment. There's also the ripple effect beyond her own career. Young athletes who once looked up to Sha'Carri as a symbol of perseverance and individuality are now questioning that image. Role models in sports carry enormous influence, and this scandal has the potential to discourage the very fans who once admired her resilience. The damage isn't just personal, it's cultural. And finally, the silence from Sha'Carri herself in recent days suggests a sobering reality. She knows the walls are closing in. Gone are the defiant Instagram posts, the bold press statements, and the fearless attitude. Instead, there's a pause that feels less like strategy and more like resignation. The track star who once sprinted past all obstacles is now standing still, facing the biggest hurdle of her life. In the end, Sha'Carri Richardson's story serves as a harsh reminder that talent alone isn't enough to outrun consequences. No matter how fast you are on the track, you can't sprint past accountability. And now, the world is watching closely to see whether this once celebrated athlete can rise from the ashes of scandal, or whether her legacy will forever be remembered as the race she could never win.